I love Saucony, and so that's why it pains me to make this video. The Kinvara 14, it just didn't do it for me. Their Endorphin lineup is absolutely phenomenal. The Peregrine lineup in trails, the Triumph 20, I absolutely love. The Saucony Ride lineup is really solid, but for some reason, the Kinvara 14, I just couldn't make it a go-to shoe. So let's get into the good, the not so good, and my verdict, which you probably can guess after I've gotten several tempo runs in, my long runs, which I'll explain the air quotes in, and quite a few easy to moderate runs in the Saucony Kinvara 14. Despite it not being the best shoe on my feet, there is still some good things about this shoe. One of them being, Saucony has put the Kinvara lineup on a diet. Now, what do I mean by diet? The Kinvara 12 came in at 7.69 ounces. The next version, V13, came in at 7.2 ounces. The Kinvara 14 came in at a 7-ounce weight. Now, where do I think they probably dropped it, considering I have ran in the other ones before, is I think they dropped a lot of it in the upper, and clearly they dropped a lot of it on the outsole, as there is barely any rubber on the outsole. But it is an absolutely incredible weight. It feels featherweight. It feels like a racer. Absolutely amazing job, Saucony. If we can fix a couple of the challenges, that weight is a special, special, special weight. The other good thing, which I really don't put this in a lot of good categories, is the price point. It's a $120 shoe. That is absolutely amazing. And if, as they keep updating this shoe and build on this complete redesign, and they can keep it at that $120 price range, I think Saucony is gonna get a lot more people to continue to look at their shoes, because $120 is an absolute bargain for a shoe. And now we're gonna get into the not so good. So I'm gonna get into 3 things, 2 of them which are crazy important, and one that just may be because it's $120. But number 1 is major slipping issues with my feet in this shoe. So for some reason, I rarely have slipping issues. Like, I don't have my heels moving around a lot, even with my lazy lacing that I do in my easy runs. But for some reason in this shoe, I had a really, really challenging time getting this shoe to lock down. So much so that, like, I still don't think I have a full lockdown of the heel in this shoe. I tried different lacing techniques. I did the runner's knot. I did all kinds of things trying to really lock this down. And once I kind of got it as close as I could, it wasn't that big of a deal on my easy runs. But where the big challenge really came in, the big challenge was when I was picking up my paces. Once I got up and above 630, dropping down into the low 6s, in one of my fartlecks in the high 5s, it became really, really uncomfortable to be running in this shoe, because I can feel the heel moving around. And so for me, that's the number 1 reason to not get this shoe, is I simply cannot get this shoe to lock down properly. Second, and also a really big deal breaker for me, is my lower legs and feet felt really beat up from running in this shoe. Now, yes, I do have a preference for higher stack heights, and yes, I do love my softer midsoles. And this isn't like that low of a stack height, and it's not that firm of a midsole, but for some reason, when I was going in and did my first, long run of 13 miles, I absolutely felt crushed the next day in this shoe. So much so that, like, I skipped using this shoe 2 days in a row, and that is a real challenge for me, especially when I start to look at, in my marathon build phase, I'm doing 8 to 10 miles every single day, and then my weekend long runs are always 20, 22 miles. So I'm not gonna go reach for a shoe that's gonna beat my body up, and then after hard workouts, I'm gonna want something that's gonna be good on my body. So this Kinvara 14 is a real challenge for me, just the fatigue that my lower legs felt after working out. And the third drawback, and it could be just simply the way I wear shoes out on the lateral edge. And you can see already in just that short amount of time, I have quite a bit of wearing. And yeah, I don't think it affects it that much, but you know, once you get 100, 200 miles into the shoe, I think it's gonna be quite uneven there. And you can see where they put the rubber on this shoe is literally the exact opposite places that I wear shoes at. And so I just think for the way I run and my run gait cycle, I think it's going to be a really worn down shoe pretty quick. So clearly Kinvara 14, sorry Saucony, not the shoe for me. Who's this shoe for? I really don't have an answer for that. I think somebody with a really big heel that it doesn't go slipping in, or somebody that has the ability to lock it down. If you're an absolute Saucony brand loyalist and only do Saucony, I mean, go for it, give it a try. I would definitely, if you're going to look at this shoe, buy it from a retailer that has an extremely good return policy. I get mine at Roadrunner and they have a pretty solid return policy, even if you've run in them. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Sorry Saucony, Kinvara 14, not the shoe for me.